What's up, everybody, and welcome in to another edition of Big Men on Basketball. It is Monday, January 30th, 2023. We're wrapping up the month of January, and we're in the belly of the beast of college basketball. I am your host, Jeff Nadu. Another week, new money here on the Barstool Sports YouTube channel. Remember, I am here every day, Monday through Friday, breaking down the card for today. That said, coming off an interesting weekend, the Super Bowl is set. We'll get to that in just a second, and our good friend Kelly in Vegas is back. You can find Kelly most days out of the week doing a show called Money Shots, which is on this exact channel, as well as a bunch of other gambling things. You can find her on Twitter at Kelly in Vegas. Kelly, good to see you. How you doing?
Hey, good to see you, Jeff. Congratulations to your Eagles yesterday. I was wrong on the Niners, and I'm sure people are going to tell me that in the comments. But we appreciate comments, good, bad, ugly, whatever that you guys want to say, because it helps our algorithm and it makes us look good.
Absolutely. And if you haven't, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you hit that like button. What we'll do is, as customary, we'll go over a couple of games here on a fairly decent Monday card. I mean, you don't ever have very deep cards. You're going to have essentially, though, a lot of MEAC, SWAC, and a couple of Big 12 kind of games, right? Big 12.
Yeah, I love those big Monday, Big 12 matchups.
Yep.
I'm kind of shocked that K-State KU didn't make the Monday card. They play tomorrow, but those type of games are what I grew up watching and loving. But yeah, I mean, every once in a while we get some decent games here. What up, Sean Alvarez? And I've got 3 tonight that are on my radar. Probably only going to get to the window with 2, but I'm curious to see. There's one I'm on the fence about.
I've got 2, and I got one small game and one big game. And we have a couple we'll talk about. But before we do that, let's talk about what we mentioned at the beginning. The Super Bowl is set. The Philadelphia Eagles will play the Kansas City Chiefs, and there is no shortage of storylines, right? You have Andy Reid, who was the coach here for almost 15 years. He took this team to multiple national or NFC title games, one Super Bowl appearance in a loss. Now he is the coach, as we know, at Kansas City. There's a lot of connections just with former coaches. We also have the very hard to stomach Kelsey brothers, very annoying people.
So wait, now I have to know which. I had this argument earlier with one of my girlfriends. One of the Kelsey brothers is tolerable. The other one is not. There's only one
I would
correct
say
answer.
It's not even a question. I mean, Jason Kelsey is much more tolerable than Travis. And look, I will say this about Jason Kelsey. You know what's interesting about Jason? A lot of people don't realize Andy Reid actually drafted Jason Kelsey when he was here. So there's a couple of guys, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Jason Kelsey.
Absolutely.
We're all Andy Reid guys. And Jason's definitely more bearable, for sure. He's definitely more likable.
Cheese is asking what's wrong with Travis. It's not anything's wrong with Travis.
He's just lame.
He's just an over-the-top personality, as somebody who else that can tend to sometimes be over the top. I get it. For everybody.
That's the thing. I will admit, Travis Kelsey and me kind of, I think, are very similar in a way of we're kind of those cringy guys that let me just say, and I have no problem saying this, okay? I am more, let's just be honest, I'm a bit hipper of most of the white guys out there. I do things that maybe are a little cringy to some.
Oh, maybe that's why you don't like Travis, because you guys are competing for the same broads.
Yeah, I think we're the same type of person. We both like darker shades of women, if we're being honest. But no, I will say, I think he's just he tries too hard to be Rob Gronkowski to me sometimes. And I don't like people that try to be funny. Like I think
he got very rockish last night. Like when he took the mic and did that whole thing. And I get it. You want to talk trash to the mayor of Cincinnati because, he's kind of threw some stones that maybe he shouldn't have thrown, and you get the win. I get it. The NFL is full of larger-than-life personalities. He's just definitely one of them. He's very flashy in the way he dresses. His brother just seems like a lot more down-to-earth, but still very fun.
For sure. And I think his brother probably says to him, like, dude, stop being so cringy sometimes. Like, you're kind of the little brother. Like, but he is a great player. I'll never say he isn't. But
absolutely.
I think it's just kind of like, I don't know. I always found Rob Gronkowski to be kind of annoying. And I think he just
I love Rob because I just love big dumb meatheads. So it's like, my name Gronk, me catch football.
Like, how many times do we need to know that he's a meathead? We get it, Rob. Like we get you love drinking beers and smoking weed. We get it. Okay. We get it.
Yeah, that's true. Did you happen to see this is where I think I started to really like Jason, because I caught the podcast from time to time and I couldn't get through the whole thing, but where him and his wife were laying in bed watching the baby monitor and the little girl, she goes, "Go Birds." And he's like, Oh
What
my
have we
God,
done
what
here?
have we done? And I love it though, because she's like, what, 2 maybe? And
Yeah.
she's just doing the, the Eagles chant. It was really cute.
I will say I did agree with that. I just felt like the last night's interaction with him and the media was just lame. It's like, we're not talking to you right now. We're talking to Mahomes. You don't need to make
Well,
yourself like
who was it? Deshaun Jackson? Was it Deshaun that walked up and, like took, was it Michael Vick? It must have been Michael Vick's like 10 seconds of fame. It's like, Deshaun, shut the fuck up. Like, this is your quarterback's moment. Kelsey did that to Mahomes last night, not once, but twice. He did it right after the postgame interview and then again on stage.
he's
I
always got
get
to be
it.
the guy, the center of
Yeah.
attention. Just like that said, there's a lot of storylines in this game. Yesterday, I'll admit, I mean, it was a weird game. I mean, the Eagles go up 7-0. You're thinking, okay, beautiful start, get the ball, go right up. But then they just a very poor tackling effort. Christian McCaffrey, we know he's great. They
Yeah,
go
had
down
a
and
nice
score.
breakaway run.
Yeah, and then the Eagles couldn't kind of get much going. There were a couple 3 and outs. Kind of people around were getting annoyed. But then it was just it's unlucky. I mean, the Niners get the injury to Brock Purdy. I saw he goes out, and there had been
Johnson comes in, and I'm like, well, there goes my bet.
I didn't even know Josh Johnson was still in the league. Like
I didn't either. I literally saw Jimmy G on the sidelines because, so mind you, this is not me. Well, how do I say this? Okay, so I am an only child. That is my first and foremost problem in the world. It's the best and worst thing about me. I have a half sister that's like almost 15 years older than me, so I grew up by myself. I am the kid when I'm losing. Give me my fucking Xbox. I'm going home. And that is exactly what happened last night. I just was like, I'm over it. I'm going to go to the fucking beach. And I found a beach bar and I could see the one TV out of the corner of my eye. And I wanted to go hang out with some of my friends and have some nooners and not worry about that game because I was so irritated that right out of the gate, Kyle Shanahan didn't throw the challenge flag. However you want to look at it, fine. Whether it was a catch, whether it wasn't.
That said, though, I know people that don't like the Eagles are trying to make this stupid claim that it wasn't a catch. It was a catch. Stop.
Full disclosure, I didn't get a good enough angle to decide. I did think from a coaching perspective, the way that Devonta Smith got up and he went like this, that means get your ass to the line, get the playoff, because even maybe in the back of his mind, he wasn't 110% sure it was a catch.
But that said, you should have thrown the flag for sure.
That's my whole point. Shanahan throws that flag. Now, Eagles are on, fourth down. The play is dead. They punt the ball away and get the ball back to the Niners. I think it changed the entire trajectory of the game. Maybe Purdy does or doesn't get hurt. Who knows?
And then you look at when Josh Johnson comes in, he throws the ball. It ended up being a fumble. That changed the trajectory. Sirianni throws the flag. But it was a game that just got out of hand quickly. I will say this. I'm interested in wondering if maybe the Niners could have hung around if Josh Johnson, at least he had a capability to throw the football. Brock Purdy, it was very clear they were not going to throw the ball. They didn't throw the ball. I think he couldn't. Once, now, it wasn't him.
This is what didn't make sense to me. They showed his elbow taped up, right? But it looked like on TV, because now you were at the game, it looked like it was his hand that was injured. I'm not sure what it was. Either way, we knew he wasn't going to throw the ball at all at that point in time. It was just like, let's just get the fuck out of here and hope that we don't get embarrassed any further.
And what killed it was Eagles were just running clock, running the football, and so were they. So it just the second half went very quick as opposed to the first half, which had no
dead on under game. So congratulations to anybody that had the under. I considered both unders. I fell in love with this Niners defense, and I think basically by the end of the third quarter, they were gassed. I mean, if you look at the time of possession in the first half of that game, it was almost 2 times that the Eagles had the ball on offense. It was just one of those games, like you said, it got away from them. But another storyline that I saw earlier on Twitter, and I did have to fact check it because I wasn't 110% sure. Nick Sirianni was the wide receiver coach at Kansas City when Andy Reid took over, and he didn't keep him. So I kind of wonder if there's not like a, hey.
Well, I'm sure he'll make Andy known to that if Andy forgets. I do want to address the people that want to say, but the Eagles haven't beaten anybody, even in the Super Bowl. Just remember, okay, they've outscored opponents 69-14 in 2 games. Okay, remember as well, all we heard yesterday was how great the Niners defense was. Okay, stop. All right.
I will say this, and somebody got really mad at me on Twitter, and I just muted him and stopped going back and forth because he is a fan, and you have to remember what it's like to be a fan, and that's where I think I'm kind of a little messed up. I really am not that big of a fan anymore. K-State basketball's kind of rejuvenated a little bit of my fandom,
I'm
if you
glad
will.
you're bringing this up because I want to speak on this.
No, I want you to too, because I'm sitting here going back and forth with this guy, and I'm like, Kelly, what are you doing? This guy is a diehard Eagles fan. Look at his entire profile. You can't win an argument here. Because what I said was I was not that impressed with the Eagles overall. Now, granted, full disclosure, I took my Xbox and went home, so I was only catching glimpses of the game. But there were some weird calls by the referees. But it happened in the Kansas City game too that went my way. So full disclosure, if you're betting the NFL, know the refs are going to get involved, and that's a risk you take. But I do think that somebody being a fan of a team is not going to look at things as objectively as a sports gambler is. And that's what I have to remind myself sometimes.
Well, I will say, and I really arrived yesterday at the final conclusion on my fandom. By the way, from this day forward, I will probably never go to another game ever.
Really?
I've gotten to the point where I hate it. Like I don't enjoy it, especially outside games. Like,
well, I'm sure you're freezing your ass off.
No, like, and it sucked too because like it's, you get up there. It was raining. A lot of people aren't aware of that. It was drizzly.
I did not know it was raining.
Cold. It was just.
It looked cold.
And I look around, and I guess a friend I went with, he said to me like, it almost seemed like I guess I just didn't feel any emotion. Like I didn't care. I cared, but I didn't care like I used to care. When I was a kid, I mean, we would literally center our entire Sunday around the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
And it would be a long day. It would be a dinners and lunches and all this stuff. And it's, I guess maybe a lot of it has to do with the fact that like, all those people that I had grown up around, my grandpa, I mean, he's dead, so it's not the same. And I guess I kind of am hardened now to like what this game is. Like to me, I'm going to be real honest with you, Kelly. I believe the Chiefs are going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't want to bet against Mahomes. I think Mahomes and Andy Reid are going to have something for the young kind of visionary in him. I have a hard time just sitting here and saying, I just think the Eagles are going to win because I'm a fan. I can't do it. And if that doesn't make me a fan, well, so be it. I can't say, though, I love sports as a fan like I used to. And I've pretty much graduated out of being a fan. But I want to ask you a question because you go to a lot of games. And I want to ask the audience this question as well. I had a real problem yesterday in the stands. And I want to bring this up to some of you and see what you think. So up where we sit, my friend has season tickets. We sit up top. Okay, I think it's a better view of the field. I kind of like it personally. But where we sit a lot of the time, it attracts opposing fan bases because the tickets are cheaper, right?
Right.
So we're sitting there, and right to the row below me, there were 3 San Francisco fans, and in front of him were 3 San Francisco fans. They had the beads on, they had the jerseys. They weren't from Philadelphia, you could tell. As the game's going on, I see a beer can fly down and hit them.
Oh boy.
Okay. Now I didn't see who it was. I just saw that it had come behind me. Something else happens. I see another beer can. And this time it hits one of the women that's a Niner fan, to which the big dude, stood up and was looking around. Now, at this point, my entire row and the row behind me caught the individual that did it. We saw it. It's clear. It was him. Security comes up. They walk over to all the people and say, who threw the beer? The whole row says, it's that guy. They pull that guy out and kick him out of the game. He sneaks back into the game somehow.
Oh, shit.
And he walks over to me and several of the people in the row and said, I'll see you fuckers outside. That's what he says to us. I said, motherfucker, this whole fucking row saw you. You shouldn't be throwing shit at people. You're a punk motherfucker, and you shouldn't be here. Now, I'm not going to go run down to the security and say you came back in. Now, if they find you, that's on you.
Yeah.
And he tried to argue with us that we were wrong in having a problem with
how ratted him out.
First of all, I didn't rat him out. Second of all, no one ratted him out. He was mad because we felt bad for the San Francisco fan that was having full beer cans thrown at them. I had a real problem with that. Like, you're a punk, dude.
We're, at least in my mind, like, where I grew up going to a ton of college games. I still prefer to go to college games. A lot of guys are in the comments saying the NFL is awful live. Listen, I'm very rarely buying tickets to an NFL game. If I got somebody that's like, hey, Cal, you want to go to a game? Hey, we got an extra seat for the Raiders game. You want to go? Hey, we got an extra ticket for the Bucks game, whatever. No problem. Barstool's like, hey, Cal, come up to East Rutherford. Come to Giant. Yes, I'll go. Yes.
But you're not going like.
But I'm not paying thousands of dollars for some of these games.
I'll tell you right now, I didn't pay yesterday. We got the tickets very cheap. He has seen the tickets. Now, if he'd have said to me, hey, listen, you need to pay, or, I absolutely wouldn't have went. Like, I don't.
But I don't mind buying food. I don't mind buying beer while we're there, stuff like that. But like, I guess I'm just kind of like the NFL is just, for lack of better words, just not as fun as college. And it's a different crowd too. You're going to see kids get rowdy at college games, but you're right. It's very rare that there's not going to be a KU fan in the middle of the K-State student section. So that beer throwing incident's just not going to happen.
And you also just have like, and no one really, unless you've been to an Eagles game, you don't really know, but it's just like you have you
guys have a jail in the link for a reason. I'm just going to say that. Not a lot of stadiums have a jail.
But it's just like every person is just so annoying. I'm not drunk. I don't drink down there. So it's like, you have to hear these dumbasses in your ear the whole time, this and that. Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? That said, I don't give a shit who you are. If you're throwing shit at people.
Yeah, you're a dickhead.
It's fucking corny. Like,
listen, I'm a complete and utter asshole. I am not fun to sit around. I talk a lot of trash, but we can have fun. I was tweeting live about the Jacksonville game. I know a lot of those tweets didn't go. I was with my girlfriend, Pam. She's in Jacksonville gear. I'm wearing King Henry jersey. I'm like, listen, I got +6. I hope you guys win. I don't care. Just win by 3, And when that was the outcome, everybody was really nice. But during the game, like I had guys flipping me off in the back of my video. And like, I had a woman that was like my mother's age, like almost like 65, 70 going, you need to watch yourself wearing that jersey around here. And I'm like, you guys gonna beat me up? Like, come on. It's a football game.
I even feel like just it's just lame. Like you're walking up to the seats, you have people like yelling shit at it's just like, what are you doing? Like you're a grown man.
I've been to a game in Oakland as a Broncos fan. I've been to a game in Arrowhead as a Broncos fan. I've been to plenty of San Diego games over the years. I've been to Tampa quite a bit as of recently. I really don't ever have that kind of issue. But I also think that, like, when you're an opposing fan, like, you kind of just got to behave yourself. But it sounds like the Niners fans just weren't doing anything. And obviously they weren't cheering. Their team only scored one touchdown. No, it's interesting
because the person that got hit, they left and didn't come back. I don't know if they just were done with it. They didn't. I felt bad for the dude because he looked like someone that would, if he seen who did that, he'd have ripped their head off. But I think he was smart enough to say, you know what, I got to get out of here.
Like, probably a good idea.
And, that kid ended up getting jammed up and they sent him out. But I will say, someone's mentioning like you get a better experience at home, which I agree with. I will say as well, I have like a local bar, like I go to every weekend. I love sitting there watching games. You have a nice dinner, you eat, you chill, you're hanging out with a couple other people. And it's not one of those like rowdy, annoying bars. It's just everybody knows everybody and it's like a neighborhood spot. Like even going to like, I'm sure I don't know what we're doing yet for the Super Bowl around here, but I believe there's a party at like Sansom Street for the Barstool.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll go there, but it's like, I don't want to be like, I'm just done going to games.
So like, to me, if they're a standalone game like yesterday or Monday Night Football, you guys will notice that with NFL, I go to Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, Thursday night, because I enjoy the standalone aspect. Because guess what? This thing doesn't work hardly at all in the stadium, even on the good stadium Wi-Fi. You're trying to check scores. If you're looking for a second half bet or you're trying to hedge out, good luck. You're not going to get it. So I do agree with Smitty that there is a time and a place to go. But on Sundays, I have Red Zone on the inside TV, and the game that I care most about on the outside TV, and whether I'm going in and out, grabbing drinks, talking to other people, making food, like I've got everything at my disposal that I need. I got my laptop open. Like, I'm not going to lie. I've had plenty of people like, I hate going to games with you because all you do is tweet. All you're doing is checking other scores. And I'm like, I'm sorry. What do you want me to do? It's Sunday.
If I were rich, like super rich, and I could have a limo take me to the front gate, pick me up from the front gate, and I had a box that I could move around. Like, I would go to every game.
That's completely different though. Yeah. Because the Allegiant Stadium in Vegas is a logistical nightmare to park, to like Uber, to anything. But the couple of times I've been invited by certain casinos, you're in their limo. They have VIP access. You walk right in through your special door. You go right up to their box. You get all the food, all the drinks. Like when we went to the Barstool, the Penn Gaming box in East Rutherford, like I took my producer, Dan, who was an Eagles fan, and he was like, yo, I can never go to a regular game ever again. You have your own waitress. You have your own person making food. it's just kind of a different experience. So
And
I'm
that's
with
another
you.
problem I have, because when I was younger, my family had Sixers season tickets, and we were on center court right behind the media. We had our own waitress. We had our own
Yeah.
I just, and maybe I'm being bougie, but like, I don't want to, like, if I'm going to go, I want to have an experience and like sit with the other, in a box, or, sitting up top with all these other lunatics. I just rather do it at home. But so yeah, I'm sure we'll talk plenty about this as the game goes on, and it gets closer. We still have 2 weeks away.
Yeah, we
Now,
do. And listen, the Chiefs have a lot of wounds to heal. I'm with you. My initial thought is the Chiefs. I wish I had something to tease them with. That's for damn sure at +2, getting them up over a touchdown. I think it's going to be a really great game, Jeff. I think it's going to be one of those same type of games like we saw last night versus the Bengals. And I ended up betting the Chiefs with some of my buddies. That was their play, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to give it out on Twitter. It's not my play to begin with. But I saw it as an opportunity to middle that game from both sides being teased. It was perfect. I was really happy that was one of the things I actually got right on Sunday. Did not really get involved in any college basketball. Had a nice 6-2 Saturday. So I said, you know what? There's nothing I love today. So it's okay to pass. The Eagles broke my heart with my Niners bet, but ultimately didn't destroy me completely.
yeah, and that's all you could hope. Another day, another dollar. Let's get into college hoops today. We've got
Absolutely.
4 games. We're going to start with an interesting one: Virginia and Syracuse. Total 132.5. Virginia laying 5.5. It's kind of centered around 5.5. I was close on Virginia. I have to be honest. I really like them against this zone. They've really kind of done what they need to do against it. They're well in case with dealing with it. Kihei Clark, so he's done a nice job against the zone. I think they're really a team that could deal with Joe Girard. They have some very solid defenders. We know they're a great defensive team. Reese Beekman can really defend. The one knock I had, though, on this one is that this is a road game, and they got Va Tech on deck. And then we have seen Syracuse really outside of Saturday. They usually hang in these games. They've been good as a dog. They've covered these kind of 2-3 possession games as dogs. And that's what kind of has given me pause. I feel like the over could be worth a look here as well. I think Virginia will score pretty efficiently. I think Syracuse will find some avenues in that zone and that kind of pack line to score a little bit, but I ultimately stayed away from it. I think Virginia will win, but I had a hard time kind of assuming that they were going to win by margin. Remember, this could be an 8-point game late, and you don't just have to cover 5.5. You need to avoid that 3 ball, the backdoor kind of possibilities, which Syracuse always seems like they're in,
Especially at home.
Yeah, I think if you could find another avenue to maybe a money line parlay with something else, that could be worth a look. But Virginia on the road with a kind of a rivalry game on the docket kind of tells me to stay away. So I avoided it. I think it's a tough game.
I think it's a tough game too, but my God, I texted you this earlier. I hate Syracuse. I had them on Saturday. They were one of my losses. And I was doing a couple of different things. I had the K-State game on. Or actually, I take that back. I had the K-State game on for the first half. I met some friends that are K-State alums at the bar for the second half. I had Syracuse on my phone. I'm refreshing. It's like, I don't know, like it's early, right? And Syracuse is hanging in there, like let's call it like 12-10 or something, right? And then just boom, the Hokies just go on a massive run. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the Cavaliers are that team to go on those kind of dangerous type runs and just be able to blow teams out. Yeah. That's what I mean. What they do have is just that stifling defense. And that is something that makes them really interesting. But going back to them not being able to blow teams out, I think that's why this spot favors the orange. My buddy Adam talks about this, and sometimes I agree with him and other times I don't. So I'm curious on your thought process. Sometimes when you bet a team, let's just say you bet a team on a Monday or a Tuesday, right? And they got another game on Thursday on deck. Do you go back and look at that team and go, okay, did I make a bad bet or did I have a bad loss and how did I lose it? Because I'm wanting to go back to the well with Syracuse tonight, but I was so pissed that after I basically wrote them off after Virginia Tech went on that run. I was like, and they're dead. Goodbye.
Yeah, I
guess my question is, do you like to go back to that team?
Yeah, I have no problem with that. So like for me, like I said, if you look at Syracuse, really outside of Saturday, and I'll admit I bet Syracuse on Saturday. I took the 6.5. They're really good as an underdog. Every
They
game
have
in the
been.
conference they've lost has come by 6 or less. Now, keep in mind, Virginia's won 4 straight against Cuse. 3 have come by 5 or more, right? So I'm looking at this and saying, and this is something I may actually do, and I don't constitute people doing this. This is something where you have to understand what you're doing to do this, okay? Kelly, if this gets to minus 200, I might bet Virginia money line. I believe they will win this game, but I think the margin of error, this screams kind of like 74-70 to me.
So are you saying you're going to try to middle this game?
Yes.
You're going to bet
Yes.
Virginia money line? Okay. No, I think that's very Jeff, I know I shouldn't, whatever. My boyfriend does that. That's literally what he does. He sits at his computer all day. That's dogs plus the money. That's the money on the other side. He hits a middler here or there. And guess what? That just made your whole day. You nail those middles. And that is something that I've never been able to master. I'm not going to lie to you. It makes me sick to my stomach to lay $2. I don't know what it is. And I'm never going to get past laying minus 140. Like I laid minus 130 yesterday with the Chiefs. And I was like, oh my God, when they lose this game.
But this is something that, and our friend John Murr just got into an argument with some pinhead on YouTube or on Barstool or Twitter about this.
Okay.
There are 2 types of people that bet sports at this point. There are people that are from the new school that will literally jump on you for why are you giving out 150 or higher favorites? And then there are the old school people like John Murgis and even someone like me who has kind of realized as I've gotten older in this business that there's reasons these numbers are where they are, right? And sometimes you have to be willing to say, you know what? Let's say I'm $100 better. I can risk $215 to win my unit, and I have a large positive EV of it winning, right? So it's
right.
I don't know. I'm more or less someone that that is willing to do that. I don't do it much, but I always liken it back to Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Every square and their mother said, I want to be sexy and get $4.50 on a dollar. And the sharp money was saying, hilariously, I would bet this at minus 900.
I couldn't fathom that in my brain. So what I did, I was just a jackass, and everybody that would send me $20 to put on McGregor or $100 to put on McGregor, I just put it in my pocket and it's like, yep, you've got plus 450 on McGregor, because there's no way I'm going to the window and laying 1100, or even I think he even got as low as like minus 850 at one point. I was like, no, that's just not how I operate. But I understand sharp guys are a lot less risk adverse to laying that. I've been told this, and this is not my mantra, but juice only hurts when it loses.
It does. And you look at it in this case. So if I risk on a $2 bet, right? It's a $2 favorite. I'd risk, let's say 600 to win 300.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not a massive.
What's your comeback? I actually have seen, I just said, the person that's got the office upstairs, I watch what he does, and he scalps a lot. And so there's a scalp calculator to tell you exactly how you want to do this.
I think if there's a 5.5, you should get it now, because I don't think it's going to go much higher than 5.5.
5 at Barstool right now, and I think it's coming back.
It's 217 at Barstool too. I would love to see it get to 2. If it gets to 2, I'll play the money line, and maybe hope to middle. It'll be interesting to see how this game figures itself out. I think Virginia wins. I think it's going to be a pretty close game. And yeah, we make it a better live number, maybe even take a shot with that. And that's what's great about live betting. Back in the day, when I first started doing this, and I'm sure when you first started doing this, we couldn't do that, right? Once the game started, you're closed out. 7:02, you're done.
You're yeah, right. Not even 7:02. I remember going up to the window, I'm like, but they haven't tipped, and it's off the board, running up there. Yeah. And then you got to stand in line at halftime, because that's your only other opportunity.
It's a lot different now. It's a lot easier for people to get down on stuff. So I'm gonna sit on this one and see where it goes. But
I like that. I think that's actually a great idea.
Could be a good, especially for a team that's not a blowout type of team against a team who's very close to keep games close. So we'll come back on it. We'll see maybe live. All right, let's go to the next one. This is a game that I am going to bet. This number is not 1.5 anymore. I put these up about 2:00. This is actually essentially
it's now minus a half. Texas Tech's now minus a half.
Yeah.
I'm late to the party, Jeff.
I don't really mind if that I didn't get the plus 1.5. I'm playing Texas Tech here.
Just money line.
Yeah.
Straight up. Okay,
Yeah.
money line right now is, sorry, I wanted to pull that up because now I need to know for myself. Minus 109.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I just look at this one and say to myself, okay, we have a team who most people believe is ranked. Are they ranked? Is Iowa State ranked?
Yeah, they are. Iowa
Yeah.
State is
Okay,
ranked. I
so
think they're number 15.
so we have a,
Yeah.
we have a ranked team as a dog at this point against a 500 basketball team that everyone knows stinks.
12. I'm sorry, they're number 12.
Why are they? Yeah. So why are they a dog? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
So there was a game on Saturday. Auburn was one of them. They were catching 4, if you remember. And I said, normally I like to bet against ranked teams catching points, but I don't trust this dog at home. And they won by 3. Auburn got the cover. I'll take it. That was a coin flip type of finish. Could have went either way. Auburn hit some buckets late, which was nice. But I'm with you here. Texas Tech off an ugly loss. They were one of the disappointments, if you will, in the Big 12 SEC Challenge. And I do think that there is an opportunity here in Lubbock for them to, well, in theory, be able to make some moves here. I take that back. They beat LSU. I'm sorry. They beat LSU, but not by
Iowa State got
10 and a half.
crushed. And this is a quick turnaround.
It was Iowa State that got crushed. That's right.
It was a quick turnaround on a Monday after a Saturday game. This is 2 straight road games. Okay. And I can tell you what will happen in this game. Iowa State will be 7 for 28 from 3. They won't make enough shots. And they'll struggle offensively. That's what's going to happen here. Texas Tech has that home court, and I know they've not been good. But remember, okay, conference play is a different animal than non-conference play. The truth of the matter is Texas Tech needs to start winning basketball games. There's no room for error. There's no room for error at this point. They've not won in this conference. They're going to win at some point. And I don't think Iowa State's a bad team. You probably don't, Caleb Grill maybe doesn't play tonight, and they dropped this one. It won't bode well much at all on them. They're still a good team. Texas Tech will still only be a 1-win team in a Big 12. I just have seen these games too many times. I like Texas Tech, got a little confidence, finally got a win under their belt the other night. They have some talent. They've got a good home court advantage, and they're good defensively. I think it's a low-scoring game. I'm going to take the Red Raiders here to get their first Big 12 win.
Yeah, it's starting to move in other markets, if you will. Sorry, I still don't know how to talk about it like that other than the Barstool Sportsbook. So we'll call it other markets on the screen. They're starting to move to 1. But instead of laying the half, just take the money line here, minus 109 for the Red Raiders. I'm with Jeff. I do like Texas Tech here. I do think that this is going to be a knockout, drag-out, punch-you-in-the-mouth type game. But Iowa State off a nice win over Kansas State, no cover. I had Mizzou on Saturday. I think that one loss turns into 2 here.
Agreed. So, yeah, I think this is a good spot tonight. I think you see a good effort. I actually took Texas Tech a couple of weeks ago against Texas, +8.
Me too.
Came around, covered a number. I've been able to kind of pick them out in kind of spots. And I think that place will still be rocking tonight. And they'll get a win here. I'm going to go into a small game quickly, and then we'll finish with Texas Baylor. This is a game I played pretty quickly. I played 8.5. It's up to 9. Southern University is very good. This is the best team. This is the best team in this conference. I've made some good money betting them. A lot of people will look at their record and say, I don't want to back a team that's whatever their record is. Remember, though, these teams schedule very difficult to start the season. They've won 7 of 8 to start conference play. They've been the best team in the SWAC by a wide margin. They've already beaten Jackson State by 9 in Jackson State. And I look at that was last year. I'm sorry, by 9 last year. It's 2 similar teams, though. This is at home. This is a team in Jackson State who's coming off a loss over the weekend against Grambling, a blowout loss. Southern's actually really good. They can really shoot the rock. They have good guard play. I'm gonna take Southern here. I think they win by double digits. The numbers moved up with me. I got 8.5. It's up to 9. It may close even a little higher. I think Southern's gets the job. And throw also in this as well. I looked at the box score for Jackson State over the weekend. Ken Evans didn't play. Ken Evans is probably, to me, their best player. I think he's definitely the best defender. If you don't have Ken Evans off of essentially a night and a half later, I don't think you're going to have him tonight. I think Southern wins, and I think they kind of win going away. So I'm going to bet Southern University.
I just bet it with you. I laid the 9. I know I was a little late there, but Jeff's been pretty good at these best bets, if you will. Saturday morning spaces gave me 2 nice winners It was nice. I had a really good Saturday. I needed that. Like for my psyche, I just needed to have a good day. So hopefully it's going to continue to roll over here to this week, but I will join you on that one. I know those smaller schools you pay a lot more attention to than 99% of people I know.
One thing that allows Texas Southern to have, or not Texas, Southern to cover 14 of 19 this year is the fact that they are one of the best free throw shooting teams in America. They've made almost 80% of their free throws, allows them to kind of extend, get bigger leads. And I got a feeling Jackson State kind of runs and hides in this one. Getting anything under 10, I think, is a pretty strong play here. So I like Southern University. Thoughts in the over? I don't have any thoughts in the over. I lean I didn't really think about it, to be honest. With the pace you're going to get here, it's kind of a clash in styles. But I could see it, being 80 to 67 or something. That's kind of where I had it. But I don't know. I didn't really look much into the total. Let's go to one more here before we kind of look to wrap it up and move on to Tuesday. Texas and Baylor. I admit, one of the losers I bet on Saturday, I grabbed Baylor. I ended up betting it late.
You and I were head to head, if I remember, because I was on Arkansas. We talked about it in Spaces. Yeah.
I just didn't think, and Baylor had opportunities to kind of extend it, and they win by 7 or 8, and they didn't. Arkansas hit a couple of threes. I just will continue to bet against what I think is a bad jump shooting team. And if you can, I think, defend Arkansas, I think you can have a shot to win and win going away. It didn't work. And this is kind of when they start getting stronger. This is a tough one for me. I like Texas. We haven't really seen that vintage Texas performance.
We haven't.
When I look at these two teams, I want to believe that they're pretty even. And I'll be honest, I think the advantage that Texas has is they're at home. So you're going to give them 2 or 3 points for being at home. And I think they have the best player on the court. I think Marcus Carr is terrific. I don't think we give him enough credit. Therefore, I think this line's probably where it should be. I lean Longhorns. I want to still believe this is a great defensive team. And I've kind of found out recently, I don't know how good Baylor is on defense. I think the front court is lacking. They don't really have a great front court. I lean Texas here. I don't think I'll be betting it, but I kind of like Texas a little bit.
So I'm going to kick it back to you before I say why I like Texas. Maybe this is a spot where you take that Virginia money line and put it with Texas money line. It's not my MO, but I'm kind of wondering. I'm very, very close to laying the 4 with Texas here. Jeff, I agree with you. I think the line is right where it needs to be. Obviously, that's what Ken Palm has it at. We know this one ticked up to as high as 5 in a couple of different markets. The problem I have with Texas, and it's not really a problem necessarily, is that from time to time, they can get picked apart. And that is exactly what we saw Ziegler do. And Olivier, I don't even know how to pronounce his last name, from Tennessee. That was a game that was on my long list. We talked about it, and I am very glad I ended up staying off because Texas has just kind of been wildly inconsistent, right? We saw them fire Chris Beard. They lose in a terrible game at home to K-State. Then you kind of expect them, and we talked about this in the Big 12, go on the road in the Big 12 this year. These teams are going to cannibalize one another. They got kind of beat up pretty bad at Hilton by Iowa State, and then they strung together a couple nice wins over teams that we say are kind of, towards the bottom, if you will, in the Big 12, and that's West Virginia and Oklahoma State. I expected to see better from them against Tennessee, but Tennessee just obliterated this team, basically just from points in the paint. I don't know why. If you just watched even a few minutes of it, the Longhorns should attack the rim, yet they didn't do it there. And I'm not sure why. Again, not their head coach, so not my deal. But I do think that we are going to see a lot of points in the paint tonight from not only Texas, but probably Baylor. You don't think so?
No, I was going to say, I don't like a team in Baylor who, when you look at their offensive composition, where their points come from. I've said before, I don't want a team that exclusively makes their points from the free throw line and from the 3-point line. I need an offense that can work in the half court. They can run sets. They can create. They can get their bigs involved.
That's what Texas is supposed to do, correct?
But Baylor doesn't do that. Texas does. Texas can do that. I think they will do
that's
that.
The thing is they can, but we just haven't seen them do it all the time. We know this team can push the pace, yet they just don't against certain opponents, and I can't figure out why. I would
think they will tonight.
I would think too, but I guess that's my hang up with this team, and laying 4 on the road is going, which Texas team am I going to get?
Well,
yes, they're
that's
in Austin, and we should see that from them. But I'm not laying 180 with this team. There's just no way.
That's the problem you're getting with teams like Texas, because we seen a game really since Gonzaga months ago where they've looked back up. I mean, Kentucky's the same type of team. Kentucky will look terrible. They'll win a couple of games. You think, oh, here's Kentucky. And then they get boat raced and get beat up by Kansas in a game where they should have won and be favored at home, and they get beat. So, yeah, there's a lot of inconsistency this year with college basketball. And that's why, for me, with this game, I want to continue. I like Texas. I really like their makeup. I like the players they have, but they just haven't had that put it together. And this might be that game, get back on the national.
It might be. Hey, you know what I did on Saturday? I said there's 2 teams that I'm not betting against, and I bet against Alabama with Oklahoma. I got a nice, easy rocking chair winner, shockingly even. But Texas, Ole Miss, Mississippi State,
by the way,
St. John's, LSU. There's a lot of teams that I don't know if I want to get involved with.
You and I had that Oklahoma. That game was beautiful, man. That
was
a good one. Could
you imagine how good my life would be if I could just have all my basketball games like that? Like, I wouldn't have a wrinkle in my forehead. Like, I would get great sleep at night.
I'll tell you another game, Kelly. You're right. And this is the same kind of game on Saturday. How about Mississippi State? That game, why were they a flip against TCU? This is what I'm talking about, guys. This is how you can snipe off this is Texas Tech tonight, guys.
Yeah.
Now, there are going to be games where they will lose, but contrary of you, every night in these spots, bet the team on paper that should not be favored or small dog, you will win. It's always going to come in.
It's gross. Yeah. You have to hold your nose, put a paper bag over your head if you're in the sports book, walk into the window. Don't tell your buddies you got money on it. Listen, it's what it is. I would agree. So even though Texas isn't on my do not bet list, so was Mississippi State, and so was Alabama do not bet against list, and it worked out really well. So I'm going to give Texas a second chance. I'll tweet it out here in a little bit, but I'm with you. I also took the 5 with Cuse, and I think the way to play Texas Tech is money line.
Yep, agreed. A couple questions I'll answer. Do I have any thoughts on Oral Roberts? Couple questions on that. Yeah, listen, I don't have any issue betting Oral Roberts. I know a lot of people won't be real interested in playing it because they did not cover the other night against Nebraska Omaha. But for most of this conference play, this team has ran roughshod over this conference. I mentioned on a Thursday show, I laid 19 with them against the University of Denver. They won by 40. I think they had a 60-point second half. So, yeah, I don't have any issue laying it with Oral Roberts. I will make this clear. I mean, South Dakota, this is not a vintage South Dakota team. The one knock I will say, if you like Oral Roberts, if South Dakota can hit some 3 balls tonight, they will hang in this game. They're a good 3-point shooting team, and that gives me a little pushback. I think they're top 15 in America in 3-point percentage. So that's something to keep in mind. One other interesting one, I never thought I'd see the day where South Dakota State, the powerhouse for years in this conference, was a dog to the Kansas City Kangaroos, but they are one tonight. This is not a good South Dakota State team, and KC can really play. They're a great defensive team. Marvin Menzies is a good coach. I want to do 2 other questions, and I want to address this real quick. Guys, listen, we work for a fucking comedy company. The job is to have fun and say crazy things. Clearly, Travis Kelce and I are not the same person. He is a successful athlete who makes millions of dollars because of his God-given ability to catch a football. He has millions of dollars, ones that I'll likely never achieve, and he has sex with women that I sometimes might mess with, but I don't always mess with. He's obviously much more attractive. Would you at
least bankroll their lifestyle, or would you kick him to the curb?
I don't know.
I'm sorry. I thought that was kind of crazy. Like, you got this hot chick that's down for you, and you make her pay for everything.
Here's what I'll say, and I do have experience with this a little bit. Any man that has, any man in general has dealt with a woman that essentially may use him at times. That's just how it goes.
That's fair.
That's just how it goes.
Did you meet her like on a dating show?
I believe he did, yes.
Yeah,
I had an ex.
What kind of women do you think are going to sign up for that?
I had an ex. I've actually posted her on Twitter before, and black hair, beautiful. A lot of people said, how'd you get her? How'd you get her? We dated for off and on 3 years. Now, she was someone who very much liked nice things, and I had no problem giving her them. We were together. We were happy. My family knew her. She had her role. We had our roles. She had hers. She had a job, but I like to make my women feel happy and good. But there came to be a time where she started being very just rude. She didn't deserve the kind of attention she was getting. And I stopped doing it. If you play your part and act like a good girlfriend, I have no problem being good to you. But when you are someone like, I guess he assumed she was just a gold digger, and good for him for recognizing it. Now, that said, he's probably smart enough to realize, like I am, there are other women you can go out there and find, and they're probably better. So I give him credit for doing that. He should not make her pay for most things. When you're making them pay for everything, that's a little ridiculous. Maybe he was a little paranoid, but
I think it's kind of a weird thing. Like, I'm a little bit old school. Obviously, I have no desire to get married. Somebody's joking about the $500 tweet I tweeted earlier about Target, because I was like driving home and I'm like, he's gonna get, oh wait, he can't get mad at me because this is my money. Like, and it just made me think of, I said something to one of my girlfriends. She's like, you should tweet that. I thought it was funny. It didn't go viral or anything, but
no
it
man
just fun
should
conversation.
no man should ever comment on the way another man spends his money. Okay, don't do it. If you have someone who you're not happy with how they treat their girlfriend or they're being used, let that man worry about it. That's his girl. Don't tell him how to do anything. Let him do his own thing. And if Kelly and her, it's your husband, right?
No, never gonna get
Fiance?
married. Nope, just boyfriend.
Just long-term boyfriend.
Yeah.
Okay, they've been together for a long time. They have things they do. Okay, I do things for women that some people wouldn't do. That's just how I am. I'm a giving man. I like to make women feel comfortable and happy and good. And I think to have women, maybe a little bit, one of the reasons maybe I have them around me occasionally is I treat them well. And that's, to me, I look at women as like a queen. I look at a woman as I pay, you eat. I would never, ever make a woman pay a fucking cent.
Do you know how much trouble I got in one time? Actually, somebody brought it up earlier. Action. I threw down my credit card when we were filming Action because I was like, oh, it's a tax write-off. Like, he reamed my ass in the car and was like, I cannot believe you just did that on a reality TV show. You know so much better than that. And I'm like, oh, sorry, I just thought. And he was like, if you ever do that to me again. And I was like, holy shit. I think the dichotomy, though, is this, Jeff, and what we're seeing is, this is where it gets tough. I'm not a feminist by any means. Obviously, like, I understand that there's a lot of differences between the sexes. I know that I can't do certain things that men can do, and there's certain things men can't do that women can do. And I understand that. I also understand the like roles of marriage and like ownership and property and why those things came to be. So for me, I'm like, nah, I'm good.
The sad thing though today, Kelly, is, and I think you know where I'm going with this, and I'm going to just say it.
I probably agree with you.
The sad thing about today and the young people younger than me, early 20s, the sad thing today is what I just said. And if I ever said this publicly on Twitter, you know what I would be called, Kelly?
Misogynist.
A simp.
Oh, you know
because
what?
Because I treat a woman respectfully and I call them beautiful and I say they look good. I want to say one thing about this.
Not at all.
Dave Portnoy, the other day, and was going around on TikTok. I thought it was so fucking dope. I saw it and I wanted to even post it. I thought it was so dope. He bought his girlfriend a new truck.
I missed that
she wanted. It was awesome. She was so happy. She loved it. And it's like, good for him. I remember the day when I was a kid. I remember my mom always wanted a convertible, a red convertible. I remember one day I was at home. I was like 12, 13 years old. I was outside. My dad comes driving down the driveway with this new car with a bow on it. And I thought it was the coolest thing. And the sad part of today is most people call people like that, oh, you're a simp. You're getting hurted. No, I just know how to treat a woman. And he knows that. Good for him for doing that. It's just lame, I think.
There's a healthy balance there, right? And I would agree with that. Everybody expresses love differently too, Jeff. I'm one of those like pet me and tell me how pretty I am kind of women. I don't really care about gifts. I don't really care about other things. Like if I come home and the house is clean, fuck, like you're definitely getting laid tonight.
You just want a normal thing.
But some women, they want designer things and they want other stuff. And it's interesting to say because that doesn't make anybody, that's just literally how their relationship is because that's the type. I mean, I know women whose husbands work 150 hours a week and they never see them.
Yeah.
But when he goes on vacation or not vacation, when they go on, he goes away for business, he comes home with a new Chanel bag and she's just like elated. And I'm like, you're never even going to see your man. But to her, that doesn't matter because that's their relationship. She has the kids, she takes care of the home, and he buys her the things that she feels like she wants.
And that works for those sorts of people. There are men that I know many dudes that they will literally borderline like they'll pay women to hang out with them for an hour and then they leave and they don't got to deal with them anymore.
I know a lot of rich guys that feel that way. They say that they don't pay for sex, they pay for them to leave.
Yeah, they don't want like a relationship. They just want to have a good time at dinner for an hour or two and leave. Now, that's cool if that's what you do. I'll never knock you for it. Like, I don't think anyone should be knocked for it. That's how they want to live and spend their money. Let them. I will say, I think there needs to be kind of where you are with, like, you just kind of get each other. And that's why you are, kind of, it works for you and your guy because
listen, relationships are really fucking hard and nobody ever talks about that. We grow up seeing Disney movies and bullshit, and your idea of what something is supposed to be never really is. I will say this, that the grass is rarely greener on the other side, and coming to a common ground on certain things is really easy to do. I have a good buddy that is retired at 60 years old, and he goes to strip clubs and he goes and plays golf and he does all this other shit. And, my boyfriend right now is talking about selling his business. And I go, well, you can just go be like Bob. And he goes, yeah, right. You would kill me. And I go, eventually you kind of get over some of those things that maybe once bothered you or didn't. Like you learn, trust gets built. There's just a lot of things that go into it. And we don't spend time with that because it's so easy to pick up one of these and swipe, and find somebody new. And then you're going to have the same problems.
And look, Kelly, what I just said has totally been proven. We have multiple people saying, that's what you do, Nadu. That's how you get girls.
It works.
Well, no, I don't do that. That said.
Oh, what do you mean?
No, like my point is proven that everything I just said, the only thing these two people got out of what I said is a way to slam me about something they think.
See, and I didn't receive it that way. I thought they meant like by being nice to women.
Oh no, no. As soon as I said that there are men that I know that pay women just to hang out with them.
Oh, that's when they jumped in. Sorry.
But that's that's the thing on Twitter, Kelly. I could get married and someone would say, oh, no, he's just paying her. That didn't actually happen.
He just paid her to get married. She was a mail order bride.
No, this is what these folks don't believe. They don't believe that someone who looks like me can get attractive women to hang out with me other than paying them. It's not just, and people will see it in due time. I don't need to prove anything. That said, this is a good comment. Can you two start a relationship?
Oh boy. Can we rival the Mean Girls? It's funny. I love Alex.
What we just did, that should go viral. And do you know how many people agree with what I just said and what you just said about how these fucking dumbass kids act today? That if you say a woman looks beautiful, you're a simp. No, I respect women. I see it in my
comments every day. I do. And these guys go after it. It's like, Kelly, I love your Niners pick. You're beautiful. And then it's like simp. It's like, it's a very easy. They're just, I think there's a lot of weird things with this next generation that I don't understand. And, I have some girlfriends. One of my best friends is 10 years younger than me. And the stories that she tells me about dating, I'm like, I'd rather die.
It's rough.
Like if Brett and I broke up tomorrow, I'm probably going to be single unless I organically meet somebody, because there is no way I'm going on a dating app and having some weirdo that is like thinking he's going to get laid night one in my like some of the messages I've seen. I'm like, the gall.
I don't have to know what they are. I know what they are. Real quick before we go, I'll say this. When I look back on everything I've done, the one blockable offense immediately I have? If I see you in my mentions when I say a girl looks pretty and I see that stupid fucking word bonk, see ya.
Oh God.
Bye-bye.
That's such a Barstool thing. Bonk.
Bye-bye.
People bonk me a lot. I bonk other people. But it is a Barstool, like, the dog with the baseball. It's just because it's like go to horny jail. I don't know if it was Big Cat that started it. I can't really remember because it's been around forever.
Nope. If I see Aisha Diaz looking sexy as fuck on Instagram, I'm going to tell you she's fucking beautiful. And I have no problem panning my fucking face over her. No problem.
You're like, I'll just bonk myself. Leave me alone.
I couldn't give a fuck. Yes, I know. I'm tweeting it. I know what I'm saying, dickhead.
Yeah, you're like, I clearly tweeted it. I know what I'm saying here. That is funny, though. I do. Now I'm going to have to tell the Mean Girls, like, hey, me and Jeff are going to come on the podcast and tell you where you guys are going wrong.
I've tried to tell these people at Barstool, okay, whether it's you or whoever, if you just sat me somewhere and let me just spew shit about how I feel about the way people, it would be a hit. Now I should do it. You and I should do it. We should. Yeah, we should be on the Mean Girls. Woodruff and Bennett, get us on.
I'm going to tell him. Yeah, Alex posted the other day about something about her husband's birthday. And what should I get him? And I go, hello, he only wants a blowjob. And she goes, you're the first woman to send that in the messages. But every guy had sent her that. And I go, that's all they ever want. He doesn't want a gift from you. Hello, he wants something that he can't pay for. Well, I guess he could pay for it. You get the idea. Like something from you that is tangible, that is, hey, happy birthday, selfless, like whatever. Like, it is what it is. He doesn't care about a card. He doesn't care about a bottle of bourbon.
No, he just wants tangible, easy things, right? That you would never think of. Kelly, I shouldn't tell you this, but I pulled another just incredible move on Saturday night. Another great move. This is how good I am. Drunk off my ass, I managed to wiggle my way into getting a girl I mess with on a regular. Okay. She texts me. It's like 1:30. Where are you at? I said, I'm at so-and-so. Oh, I'm still looking all right. I didn't get undressed for the night. I didn't get a shower, nothing. She's like, I look cute. We should mess around. I said, beautiful. I said, where you at? She said, I'm at my house. I said, yo, it's mad hard to get an Uber right now. Let me see if I can get you your own Uber. But then I thought to myself, you know what? I'll have the Uber go pick her up and then have her drive in that Uber to come pick me up. And we'll be in the same Uber. We get home, do what we got to do. And then by then, all the bars have let out and there'll be more Ubers available. We can get her in and get her out.
Okay.
Worked perfect. I got home. We did what we did. And by 2:30, I was showering up and heading to bed. And I was
You don't let him stay the night?
Oh, this is the sad. I felt bad, I have to admit. She brought a little bag with her. I felt bad. And I kind of was like, look, I got to go to the Eagles game tomorrow morning. So here's what I'll do. I'll get you a ride home. We'll make sure you get home. You can sleep in your own bed. I'll see you tomorrow. And it worked. It worked.
Oh boy. See, more reasons why it's just not going to work for me. This is not going to work for me.
Now remember, I am someone that recognizes, and I don't fight for wit. I have them available. I'm not these goofy guys simping over a picture. Remember that. See, never mind. Real quick, thoughts on Move Matter TV. I haven't watched it yet. I didn't even know it was on, but I will watch it. By the way, go watch You People on Netflix. It was very good. I really enjoyed it. Yes.
I'll check it out. I got to get caught up on stuff with
Jonah Hill was terrific.
Okay.
And I have to admit, I got certain DMs. Wow, Jeff, this really reminds me of your and I's relationship when we dated.
Wow.
I know. Go watch it and you'll find out why. Kelly, good to see you. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Absolutely.
All right. Sounds good. Good luck with everybody's bets tonight. I like Southern University -9. I also like Texas Tech on the money line.
Yep.
Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Kelly will be back on Wednesday. Kelly, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely.
See you. All right, everybody.